Okay, let's continue. I'm gonna go back here quickly and let's get this sorted out. Make sure everything is in order. All right, and an easy way to check is to double click. You can see we have an opening somewhere here. That's fine. I'm not gonna worry too much about that. Cool. I'm gonna double click. Everything is fine. And what I'm going to do is something a bit hacky, but I think it's needed for this. I'm sure we can find easier ways to do this, but I'm going to select a few things by hand. So I'm gonna select this edge, this primitive, this polygon here, and I'm going to hold Shift A. Let's click another one. I'm gonna hold Shift A. This actually worries me. No. So I'm going to select two of them, hold Shift A, and you can see it's finding the shortest path. And I need to select this guy. This is the section I'm interested in. I'm gonna hit tab on the viewport, type in extrude. I'm gonna extrude that. Okay, and then I'm gonna extrude it one more time, but this time I'm gonna use the transform. I'm gonna set it to set it to 0 on the y-axis, and that flattens everything down, but I don't want that. I want to flatten it up. Okay, and now we're in a much better shape. We have something that resembles like a real arch. Now just these two guys, I'm going to select and move them. And again, we're doing now something rather complex in terms of geometry, and yes, we can make everything procedural if we want to, but I want to show you guys how we can get 3D geometry done and built as fast as possible. So cool, we have that. Let's connect it. Let's loop it. Great. Let's move this back. Cool, I need to move that there, but it's fine. Awesome. We have pretty much 100% controllable system. Very complex design here. Everything blends in nicely. We can add anything we want. We can change this to square if we want to, and back into this, and then it connects. But now what everybody likes, bricks. Let's do some bricks. I'm going to show you, hopefully this works. I'm going to show a way that you can take any geometry and convert it into a brick. But I need some input geometry, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to select this area. Okay. And I'm going to blast it. Delete non-selected. And I have this segment here. We can obviously keep it here, but we can fix that later. So let's call this bricks ISO for isolation. And let's see, what we need to do is we need to divide this in a brick pattern way and basically add some bevels to show that pattern. And what we need is we need an empty, a clean platform for us to do this, and right now there is all this division, so we need to clean all that up and just leave the outer layer, and we're going to use a node called divide. Again, nodes doesn't mean what the node really does. Most of the nodes in Houdini can be used in so many different ways. I'm going to turn off this convex polygons, which is the default option. I'm going to turn on remove shared edges, and boom, we have this. Okay, let's do another divide. And actually, let's yeah, that's fine. Maybe let's try a facet and see what we get. I want to see if I can remove those points. remove inline, I can. See? Everything went away. Divide, turn off convex, turn on polygon breaker. I don't need anything along the Z or X, so I'm going to increase this number really high so I don't see any loop. And along the Y axis, this is the number I'm interested in. And this basically divides the geometry like that. So we got this parallel now, and what we need is we need to group it in a way that we can offset each one of these guys, or take each one of this and divide it into bricks. So let's do this. Let's add a facet node and turn on unique points. And let's add a color. This is something I like to do a lot. Let's add a color node. Let's add a connectivity node and change its type to primitive. So now what Houdini is generating one value per group of connected polygons. After this operation, it separates every single polygon by itself. So let's take a look at random from attribute and use the class and see what we get. I had the geometry color turned off, so I have to turn that back in. Let's change this to primitive, and voila, we have each of these blocks together. Okay, now what I'd like to do is we need to loop over each one of them and basically divide it. So let's do this. Let's clip this. Actually, I want to try to simplify this. Let's clip this along the X axis, and I just need one. What happened? Yeah, this happened a few times. Not so sure why. So let's clip this, and I just need 1/2 of it. So let's say that. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort these guys by height, because right now if I take a look at the primitive numbers, you can see it's correct. No, 0 is not correct. So we need to sort this again using the Y position. And now we can go 0, 1, 2, 3 and do something for each one of them. So let's try a group by range. And instead of 0 to 1, I'm going to change this to 2. So we have these guys, okay? And let's call this A, and let's separate each one of them. Separate A, delete non-selected, and let's add a divide node there. Actually, let's copy this guy. Where is it? This guy, and reuse it. Okay, we don't need anything along the y-axis. We already did. Let's try along the x-axis is what we need. Okay. So we did that. Let's copy this. Let's template this guy, or actually let's Control-Shift-Click. And now with the divide, we need to offset that. And there we go. That's our brick structure. Now the problem relies here. How are we going to solve this? Well, the reason I used the sort on one side is because, let me show you, if I do it on two sides, it's going to be hard to figure out the number. So here it says 0 and then 1. So we're going to be dividing this, separating this and this in a wrong way. Let me show you. So if we sort everything together and then blast one group, see, it's giving us this. It's not doing the right thing. So I have to split it I have to split the geometry so that the sort can work properly. is where I don't know what's happening. Let me create a new viewport. Okay, so here let me verify just that we're on the correct, yeah, so that point there. And let's copy this and change this to above. Okay. And tick this. Cool. And we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to sort it. And then do the same thing. And let's merge all this. And I need to tweak 2 divides to fix that. Houdini, what's happening? Maybe it's the tablet that I have. Nope. Okay, so we have the divide, the clip edge, which is fine, but we need to fix the divide now. So these 2 guys, that's correct, that's fine. And I think it's working. I think it's working, yeah, here. Yep, I think it's working fine. Now, all we have to do is to fix this edge is loop over each of these guys based on their group. You can see the color here. It's what we need. And we can also keep this connectivity. Yeah, we're going to keep that. And we're going to loop over based on that. So let's do a for each. It's a connected piece. I don't need that. So, and then we're going to loop based on this attribute, which already exists. And if we select this node, it says here, piece element primitive, and that's the attribute. If we take a look, we're going to have this this guy. So let's fuse it, and let's move on. And we still have the divide problem. I'm trying to think, because the next step is to add a separate each primitive and then scale them based on their local axis, and that's what I want to fix at the moment. And I had this idea in my mind that it would just work, and I honestly never tried it. But I guess we're gonna have this issue. Maybe later we'll find a fix for it. Yes, we'll do it later. There's many ways, but I'm not going to overcomplicate things more than that. So a facet to separate them, and then a primitive node, and we'll tick on do transformation. This is going to scale the primitive based on their local pivot. Okay, let's extrude these bricks. Extrude them in. Output back. Tick on output back. I want them to be thick and not so thick. And let's view shaded, flat shaded. Let's add some bevel. That's working. Well, let's change it to round. We have our bricks, and let's override the color. We can simply delete the attribute, which is CD, that is used for the color. So I'm gonna add a delete. Come on, attribute delete, and delete CD. And then let's go back here. This is where we separated the geo. We're gonna do the inverse. We're gonna do delete node selected, and then let's merge all of this with that guy. Now here I'm gonna add 2 merges to simplify this, so we don't have to worry about all these connections. I'm gonna move this up to keep it organized, and I'm gonna add another merge to this section, and let's delete this. Okay, and then here I'm going to merge these two guys together first, and then merge them with the rest. And there we go. We've converted this into bricks, except that edge that we'll fix at some point. Okay, let's take a look and see how this looks. Awesome. So the only thing is this is a bit big, and we have two guys here, two edges, so we have to figure out how we can do that as well. There is the edge, it's just the overlap is quite big between the two. So if we simply reduce this, where is it? Let me find it. So if we reduce this distance here, we're going to be able to fix the overlap of the bricks easily. I'm going to leave it at this point, at this state. Not going to change too much. I think we spent too much time on this stuff, and we still have a lot to cover. Cool, a little bit of alignment here. Very cool shape. It's all an extension of this. And by the way, we can, maybe I should try this. These guys are not perfect here, but I'm gonna do a quick test and see if it works. So let's go back here, and let's do a copy of this. Let's add a resample. I'm going to reduce the number of points. Yeah, I'm going to reduce the number of points. Something like that. And I'm going to skin them. And I'm going to clip them. Okay, I'm going to clip them one more time. Great. Okay, let's change this clip like that. Okay. And now the viewport is freaking out. Okay, so let's change this to flat shaded. And I want to try that trick of separating along the edges. If we get to be, if we can select them, then we're good. Let's see if that works. Like this. So let's create a group. And let's tick on by edges. Change this to edges. Angle. Sorry, the length. Yes, we can do that. We don't have to worry about the top because we don't have to worry about the top in this case. It's very long. We can either take this part and divide it many times, or simply delete the top part, which is reasonable. So let's do that. Let's delete the extra part. We can also edit the, yeah, something is happening with my keyboard. We can also delete that part from the curve, and it will delete the polygons as well. So I think I'm not going to tumble anymore in my viewport. I can't. Yeah, something is happening. Sorry about that. Okay, let's we deleted that stuff. Let's do the selection. Okay. And see now this part, for example, these guys are getting selected. There is nothing we can do about that. Maybe let's try with the angles and see if we if it helps. Let's see what the angles by themselves select. They don't select interesting part. I mean, they do select interesting parts, but it's not what we needed. What we need now. So it's only this part that we need to fix. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to go back to the clip and just move it up to align it with that edge. Yeah, I think something is wrong with my settings. Okay, we got the edges finally. Let's grab that section. Actually, let's grab these two. Let's call this A, or sep for separation, and edge cusp, connectivity, and obviously it's not going to work because I'll tell you why. Let me try this color. Yeah, so something is happening here. Let's try and let's add a fuse. Okay, it's our separation group. Yeah, something is not working here, but I wanted to add the separation as if they are blocks. I'm still not happy with the way this alignment is going, but I think it's the only easy way that we have. The other option is going to be a little bit complicated, and hopefully in week 3 we're going to talk about some of that stuff. Thank you guys for watching, and see you in a bit.